Hi, my name's Mark, one of the pastors here at Trillium. Many years ago, a man named Rabbi Harold Kushner wrote a book called When Bad Things Happen to Good People. It was a very successful book. It probably sold like 4 million copies. And in that book, he tries to answer the question, why do the righteous suffer? Why do bad things happen to good people? How does God allow so much suffering and injustice in the world? And he mentions in the book that this is one of the most compelling questions that people ask him as a religious leader. Either right off the bat or quickly, they get around to ask him how God can allow people who don't deserve it to suffer such a way as they do. You know, where's this all-loving, all-powerful God? And Kushner wrote a 250-page book in answer to it. And I read it, and I must say I wasn't impressed. I think it was a wasted effort. Not because the question itself isn't a good question, but it's simply unanswerable. Why does God allow bad things to happen to good people? Answer? Don't know. That's the truth, I think. The Bible doesn't try to answer that question. Why do bad things happen to good people? The Bible doesn't seem to be particularly interested in that question. And I think it's because the biblical writers recognize that they're hitting an event horizon. They can't get around it or through it. It's a place where our direct observation can't go. And so they don't bother spending the effort to do so. They ask and answer a different question. And it goes like this. Now that you find yourself flat on your back in life, which is inevitable for all of us, we all get knocked down, we all get put flat on our back. Now that you find yourself flat on your back in life, what are you going to do next? How are you going to get up? Are you going to stand again? How we get knocked down in life is in a sense a mystery, but it's a common and inevitable experience of our life. But how we get back up again is more complicated and more prone to challenges for us. Because when we're lying flat on our back, which is the symbol of death in the ancient world and modern world, it's the basic symbol of death, lying flat on our back, voices come to us. Strange voices, negative voices, defeating voices. Like we deserve to be down here. We deserve that we caused it upon ourselves. We called it into existence. We don't deserve to get up. We deserve to be suffering and be punished for it. We're not going to be able to get up. We can't make it out of this. We're not going to be able to stand again. We hear those voices. The Bible says there's actually an important voice to listen for when you're lying flat on your back. And it's the voice of God. And it's the voice that actually calls out to us in a command, stand. Get up, get moving, stand again, you can stand. It's the voice that calls us to get off our backs and back up onto our feet. In the Bible, the word resurrection literally is connected to the word stand. To stand is life. That's the symbolic meaning of life in the ancient cultures throughout the world, is standing. And the word for resurrection is to stand again, stand anew, to get back up on our feet. That is the symbol of life. And the voice that calls us to stand again is only one voice. It's the voice of God. It's the voice of our true spirits. God calls out to us when we are lying flat on our back to stand again. But the question is, will we hear that voice for ourselves? When we're lying flat in the back and the cacophony of all those negative voices that speaks to us in the midst of our defeat and despair, will we hear the voice of life speaking in our hearts and minds? I don't know. The voice that calls us to stand again is connected to our ability to trust. So often we get commands from the world to do this and do that, to do this. There's so many forces in the world that want to take ownership for us and own us. And we've learned how to sometimes resist those forces and orders. But there's another voice that also demands our obedience too. It is the voice of life. We're going to obey one of the voices that speaks in our hearts and minds. The only question is, which voice is it going to be? Is it the voice that keeps us flat on our back, or the voice that helps us stand again?